Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Virtual Tavern Sci-Fi Sunday. This is episode, I think, 7 of our Cyberpunk 2077 coverage of the video game. I think it's 7.
Bro, I think it's like 4.
No way.
I'm pretty certain it was like 4, dude.
No, it is 4.
You fucking moron.
Okay, let's rewind. Like Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
This is episode 4 of our Cyberpunk 2077 coverage. My name is Adam Edgar, joined by
Hunter Chambliss. Very, very excited to be back for Sci-Fi Sunday. Fortunately, I had to miss the last one, but it's good to be back. It's good to be back, Johnny.
Yeah. Two-time national state champion for sucking the glizzy, Hunter Chambliss over here.
Oh, dude, yeah, fucking the glizzy hog dog, man. Like, I just fucking
Jesus. Well,
like Kobayashi.
Last time we left off was a lot of setup for the heist. We covered the All Foods mission, which was the pickup, which was an awesome fucking mission. Lots of branching, decision making that you can do, and it's one of the few missions in the game where your decisions actually have an impact on the story.
Yeah, it'll affect things later on, which is really cool. Like, I like when games have it to where your choices actually have an impact rather than just being sent on a linear path.
Exactly. Ooh, damn.
It's delicious.
Delicious. Yeah, I was about to say that. Terrific. But anyway, that was last episode. We also had the information, which was where you got to meet Evelyn Parker and best girl Judy Alvarez for the first time.
Oh my God, I love her.
I know. It's the Patrick Bateman, American Psycho meme. It's like, why isn't it possible? Why not? It's like trying to romance Judy Alvarez as a male V. Why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not? You stupid bastard.
Dude, I'm gonna find the mod. I'm going to fuck her as a man. You know what? I have to.
You'll down. Yeah, it's on Nexus mods, but be warned, you'll probably have a bunch of, angry lesbians calling you a fucking misogynist pig. Be like, she's meant to be lesbian. She's written as a lesbian. Respect her rights. Like, it's a fictional character.
On top of that, I fucked her as a woman already, okay? I'm trying to be able to get everything that I can out of this.
Yeah. Other than that, before we dig deep into our content coverage, we like to do something called our house cleaning shit. It's just our plugs and our talking about recaps and our emails. It takes like 10 minutes. Bear with us. We use lube. We don't raw dog you, But anyway, last episode we had, the heist and the information and the pickup. So we have not gotten any emails, but if you would like to email us, we would love to hear from you. Our email is contactvirtualtavern@gmail.com. If you have a question about Cyberpunk or literally anything that we've been covering in the past, for Sci-Fi Sunday, we've covered The Matrix. So if you're a first-time listener, we've been having a lot of listeners and viewers this past few, weeks. So chances are there's a lot of first-time people watching and tuning into the podcast. If you have a question about The Matrix or, Cyberpunk in general, we would love to hear from you. You can ask us literally anything. Again, the email is contactvirtualtavern@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you.
Yes. Go ahead and engage with us. We'd love to be able to actually talk with you guys.
Yes. And speaking of viewership, we mentioned this in the Fantasy Friday podcast, but I'll mention it here too. We've been having a influx of people tuning into the podcast from YouTube and Spotify as well. It's just awesome. Obviously we're still a small podcast channel, but it's really satisfying to see visual growth, no matter how small it is, from like 100 people viewing every week on YouTube to 200 to 300 to almost 400 now.
Yeah. It's really cool to watch as this podcast grows and progresses. Because I mean, honestly, like kind of where we're at right now is bigger than I thought we would have been.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, we're still small, but at the same time, like we're just two fucking dipshits that are sitting here talking about shows and movies that we like.
Yeah.
And you guys decide to tune in and hang out with us, and we're very appreciative of that.
Yeah. So out of the 400 plus of you that are tuning in every week, one of you send us a fucking email, for God's sakes.
Just say hi. Tell me I look like a fucking douchebag. I don't care. Email us.
That email is contact virtualtavern@gmail.com. Make Cosco Media. I beat you to it. But anyway, so to cap off our house cleaning shit, obviously we are a video podcast, so we're on multiple platforms. You are either watching this usually on YouTube or Spotify. So either follow us on Spotify if you have, Spotify Premium, you get no ads, or YouTube Red. Is it YouTube Red? Is that what it's called? That premium service?
It might just be YouTube Premium now. They've changed the fucking name of the thing like 4 times, dude.
Whatever the premium subscription to YouTube is, where you don't get ads, just subscribe to us there. I would prefer to you, I've mentioned this a million times, I would prefer you to subscribe to our YouTube. That way you get community updates for the podcast if we're going to miss an episode, or just funny memes in general, or YouTube shorts. It's a good place to follow the podcast if you're a fan of it.
Yeah, and we're on a couple other sites too. If more audio based stuff is your thing, then we're on several different other streaming sites. If you prefer video, then you can find us either, like Adam said, on YouTube or Spotify, or you can find our Brazzers account.
No, that's linked to private.
You might be able to find my feet finder. Like that's not
feet finder. Jesus Christ. Well, anyway, yeah. Whatever platform you're listening to us on, whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat. If you have Spotify Premium, you get no ads on there. You have YouTube Red or Premium, you get no ads on there. Literally makes no difference to us. You're still supporting us.
Yeah. Like Adam was saying, like if you're subscribed to the YouTube, then you can at least get like community updates and things. If we're gonna miss an episode, or maybe we're gonna do like a special event, like maybe we're gonna do a live stream where we're both just kind of hanging out playing Cyberpunk or playing just something and bullshitting.
Yeah,
it gives you guys a chance to be able to come in and hang out with us.
Yes. So that's it for our plugs. See, that was only 7 minutes. Fucking pretty painless. Now we cap this off with our talking point recap. Now, for those of you that don't know, new listeners or viewers to the podcast, a talking point recap for us is an opportunity for us to reflect on the previous segment of whatever we're covering. So last segment of Cyberpunk 2077 was very, laying the groundwork for the heist, right? We had the pickup and the information where we got to talk to Evelyn Parker.
We were very much laying the pipe in the last episode.
Laying lots of pipe.
Lots of pipe. I want the pipe.
You want this pipe? I want it.
You want this pipe? I want it.
Anyway, so Hunter, my talking point recap for you is there was a dialogue option where you're talking to Evelyn Parker, where you can cut Dexter Deshawn out of the deal. Now, in the benefit of hindsight, obviously, spoiler alert, the heist doesn't work out and, everything falls to shit. You don't get paid for this heist.
Yeah.
But let's say hypothetically that you were going to get a reward from this mission. Who do you think would have been more honorable to uphold their side of the deal? Evelyn Parker or Dexter Deshawn?
Honestly, I would say probably Dexter, because like he had everything set up. He's a well-known fixer. Meanwhile, you have this client that's being really shady. It's like, hey, we'll split it 50-50. Like you very well could have turned it into her and she's just going to fucking cap you right then and there, or she's going to have somebody else behind you to do it.
Yeah.
So like it's entirely possible that she would have just fucked you and made it to where she never had to actually pay. She'd have been able to get the job done for free and been on her merry way to go, fuck some other Arasaka higher up.
See, I actually agree with that, because Evelyn Parker, like you said, isn't a fixer. She's a client. She's the one that outsourced the job to Dexter to figure it out.
Yeah.
Obviously Evelyn and Dexter are going to take their own major cut, but she's not a fixer. She's not bound by like the unwritten rules and, the honor system that is like being a fixer in Night City.
Yeah.
Like Dexter, he has a lot to lose if he fucks over his crew, because then your street cred is going to be ruined. Your fucking name is going to be ruined. Everyone's going to know, you're basically burned.
Yeah, like everyone's going to know you're a giant piece of shit, and working for you is a really fucking bad idea, because it's going to make it to where you don't know if you're actually gonna get paid or not, or if you're just gonna get fucked in the ass.
Yeah, it kind of goes both ways. And I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but when you talk to Rogue in the afterlife, she mentions that after the heist, your name has a lot of bad like karma attached to it, or a lot of bad rep to it. Like, she won't offer you jobs at the afterlife because you fucked up the heist.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes both ways, right?
Yeah, like reputation goes a very long way in the culture of being a merc in Night City.
Absolutely. So I completely agree with you. Dexter Deshawn has a lot more to lose.
Yeah.
So that was mine.
So mine for you is we got to see some very brutal deaths in this last bit. What would you say was your favorite or most, what you think was the most brutal way that someone got fucking taken out?
Ooh, and all the different hypotheticals of how that all foods mission can go.
Yeah, all the different options that you have. Like, you have it to where you can just straight see.
Why do you always fuck me raw on these talking point recaps, man?
I try to make mine fucking good.
I'm gonna have to go with, if you just completely if you completely blow Royce's head off when you draw the gun on him and you just have the option to pull the trigger and blow his brains out. I think that's the most gruesome death.
For me, it's kind of a tie. So it'd be a tie between that or when you find the detonator, if you just go, oh, look at this.
That was going to be my other one too. But you don't actually like really see it. You just...
you hear it. Like, you know what happens, but...
oh, what's this do?
Look, oh, well, he probably wasn't needed anyway. I just killed a man. And I liked it.
I killed one of God's most innocent and beloved creatures. And I liked it. That's an old reference for you non-millennials, fucking drawn together. Really raunchy ass cartoon.
Fucking, what the hell is his name? Captain Hero?
Yeah. So anyway, that was our house cleaning shit and our talking point recap. See, we like to keep it under 15 minutes, nice little sweet spot. Now we can really dig deep into the content of this episode. So for the purposes of this episode, we're going to be covering the heist. We're not going to be covering the interlude, which is like the aftermath of the heist. When you get shot, spoiler alert, you get shot in the head by Dexter Deshawn. We're not going to be covering the interlude where you play as Johnny Silverhand, because the heist is already like an hour plus long.
Yeah, it's a very long and in-depth mission. And honestly, it kind of feels like a good point to be able to stop here and then have the interlude missions, because I consider the two missions that follow both part of the interlude, because technically after you finish the second one, it does go into Act 2. So it's kind of a mix of the two. But I feel like that would be a good episode in its own right. So just having the heist be this episode's a good idea.
Yeah. So to begin this episode, you get a call from, I believe, Dexter Deshawn saying that we're going to meet at the afterlife, right? Or is it someone else?
It's either Dex or it's Jackie. It's one of the two.
I think it's Jackie. Now that I think about it, I think it's Jackie saying, hey, we're going to meet at the afterlife.
Oh, you know what? It is, because you have to meet Jackie at the front door.
Yeah, that's right. Because he's like, where you been, hombre?
Yeah, because like you walk up and he's talking to his mom.
Oh man, that was such a sad moment.
I know, because like there's a couple different dialogue options that you have, and the one that I chose is, how is Mama Wells doing? And he starts talking about how he keeps telling her that everything's fine, but he feels like he's lying to her because she's worried he's going to end up like the rest of the Wells boys as just a corpse in the dumpster.
Fuck, man. So before we dig super deep into this, I just want to say this mission is why not the reason, but it's one of the missions in which I fell in love with this game.
Yeah.
There's so much emotion. There's so much, antithesis as to what Cyberpunk, the game, is, like the thesis of this game, like death, facing your death, becoming a legend in Night City. There's so many themes that get explored in this just one mission. It's densely packed. Do you go out in a blaze of glory, or do you live the quiet life? What are you willing to sacrifice to become a legend in Night City?
Yeah. Like, what are you really willing to put on the table in order to essentially make your dreams come true.
Yeah.
And before we get too far into this, I do want to mention that I did do a little bit of extra credit, so that way, we could kind of see more of our playstyle start to come out. Because here's where we really start to be able to branch out. Like, because all of up until now, like, we've kind of done the same thing, just because like we're so early on in the game. But Adam and I kind of already discussed this. The NCPD scanner missions, we might like briefly touch on, but a lot of them are the exact same. You just go through, kill a bunch of enemies in the area, and that's it. Yeah. So I did get some footage for it for if or when we happen to talk about it, but because they're not like big highlighted missions, I went through all of those so that way I could upgrade my character and level up to where you guys can actually see kind of more of my actual playstyle.
Yeah.
So we can really start to finally like differentiate our two ways of playing.
I think once Act 2 begins, I'll finally start evolving my own playstyle, because even for this mission, you only have the guns that you find, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to bring my melee weapon into this fucking fight. I only used the weapons that I was able to find during the mission. So even during this mission, you're not going to see my playstyle really at all.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted to push myself to do those extra missions, because otherwise, they'd be watching us do the exact same thing. While now, because like I've got myself an upgraded cyber deck, I have it to where I can hack multiple people at once or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're able to see a little bit more of what I can do. And actually some of the fight scenes are pretty cool. Like you'll be able to see me basically like wipe one dude out on the left side of the room while shooting somebody else, and I don't have to fucking touch him with bullets at all. Like I'm able to separate fights and make it to where it's a lot more manageable.
Okay. So to begin the heist, right, you go down to the afterlife. Jackie Wells is waiting out there for you, and like you said, he's already talking to his mom, and we got to see very briefly Mama Wells in the prologue kind of montage scene where she invites you to her house to live with them temporarily until you find your own place.
Yeah.
And Mama Wells, she's talking to Jackie. He's like you said, doesn't want to end up like the rest of the Wells boys. Very sad scene. It's like, fuck, man. Especially on repeated playthroughs, you know what's coming. It's like, son of a bitch.
Dude, it hurts every time. Like, I know what's to come. And knowing that it's the last mission we get to see him.
I know, such a great character.
I know, and he got taken out so early, which I get that it needed to happen for V's character development, but at the same time, like, it sucks because he's such a great character. Like,
such a well-written character, and charming too.
Oh yeah,
you're ride or die.
He's very well-rounded. He's charming, he's sweet, but at the same time, like, he's willing to fucking fuck anyone up that is going to endanger those he cares about.
Yeah, very well-written character. So you go down to the afterlife. Very beautiful location. This is obviously one of the locations that was heavily fucking advertised in the promo material for this game. Cut scenes, promo trailers and everything. It's the afterlife. It's the Merc Bar. It's legendary, right? With, different mercenaries like Morgan Blackhand, Johnny Silverhand, mercs that have gone out in a blaze of glory that have their own drinks named after them.
Yep.
You go to the bar because Dexter Deshawn isn't like quite ready for you. And as you're walking through the bar, and it's going to be like this the whole mission, right? Jackie is like, he's like mesmerized. He's like a little kid in Wonderland. He's like, oh man, we're in the afterlife. I've heard about this place. The legends of Night City used to drink here, and he's just having a great time. And you feel for Jackie. It's like, man, he really wants to be a legend in Night City.
Yeah.
And it sucks because you know what's coming, and you see how wide-eyed he is and hopeful he is for the future.
And one really interesting thing about it is when you first start going down into the afterlife, before you talk to the bouncer, he starts telling you the story about how before it was the bar, it used to be a morgue, and that's why it's called the afterlife.
That's right.
However, if you play as a street kid, you have the dialogue option to be like, yeah, Jackie, I know. I'm the one who fucking told you that that's the story. He's like, oh yeah, I forgot that was you.
Oh, really? That's a street kid option?
Yeah.
Huh.
I remember that from my first playthrough. because like, you know, he says the same thing no matter what, but as soon as you say like, yeah, Jackie, I know that story, I fucking told you about it.
Huh. I couldn't remember that one. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. So I just thought it was interesting that they kind of threw that in there. Which I do like. I kind of wish I would have gone as a street kid. Well, Corpo is my favorite just because like that's kind of where I started getting more of my current play style out of, because that's when 2.0 and all that hit. The street kid has a lot of dialogue options while you're in the city.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's Night City. That's where you grew up, spent most of your time. Makes sense.
So you're able to use your dialogue options a lot more. But I just thought that was an interesting tidbit to throw out there because I'd forgotten about it till I was walking through and he mentioned it's like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he says it used to be a morgue back when they still properly buried bodies.
Yeah.
So that tells you like, holy shit, we live in a grim future where you don't even have cemeteries anymore. People are just like Cyberpunk Edgerunners. When Gloria dies, she's just dispensed in a fucking little tiny receptacle.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that they've just gone to straight up cremation because like everyone dies so quickly because of all the crime.
Yeah, it's so commonplace. It's like we're not gonna have funerals every fucking day, you know?
Yeah, we're just gonna we're gonna cook you up, throw you in a fucking soda can, and then shoot your ass out of a giant vending machine.
Yeah.
Like, there's no need for anything else.
Yeah. So you go to the bar. That's where you get to meet Claire and like talk to her for a little bit because the bodyguard comes out, says, "Hey, Dex isn't quite ready for you yet." Or no, the bouncer says that. And you go to the bar. That's where you can talk about becoming a legend in Night City, get a little bit more information about that. You ask Claire like, "Oh, what do you got to do to get a drink around here to get a drink named after you?" She's like, "Bite a bullet."
Yeah, like you need to die mid-op is preferable.
Yeah.
And then Jackie being all cocky, he's like, "So you ready to write down my recipe?" And it's like
ginger beer.
Yeah, it's vodka, ginger beer, lime, and
a splash of love.
Yeah, I think it's most importantly, a splash of love.
Isn't that just a fucking Moscow Mule?
I think there's something else that he throws in it, but yeah, it's mostly a Moscow Mule.
It's just a Moscow Mule, dude.
Yeah. But like Clara starts laughing like, "Oh yeah, I'll definitely remember that one." But when you first roll up, like you can either choose to say like, I don't want anything, or have Jackie order for you, and he orders 2 Johnny Silverhands.
Yeah.
But rather than say that, like he actually gives out the ingredients. She goes, "Oh, okay, 2 Johnny Silverhands coming up." So that like already kind of shows you the environment of the afterlife, which is really cool. And actually, later on in the story, when you go in there, you can order a David Martinez.
Yes.
Which I really like that they added that.
Yeah, that was added with one of the updates, after Edgerunners came out, in the popularity, which was cool.
Yeah. I like that they actually like made sure to try to bring that universe into canon. I mean, obviously it was canon, but you know what I mean? Like they try to make it to where you can actually interact with the show.
Well, even some of the perks have little artistic designs of like Rebecca or David Martinez,
Yeah, and like you can find you can find certain weapons, or you can find David's jacket. I haven't found it yet, but I know it's in the game.
Yeah, you can find David's jacket. You can find Rebecca's shotgun called Guts.
Yeah. And if you go to the cemetery, like they have all their different memorials up.
Yeah. So you're talking, talk about the legends of Night City and everything at the bar. Jackie's pretty much, a young kid at Comic-Con right now. He's just like having such a great time. He's like a kid in Disneyland right now. Pretty much. And eventually the bodyguard for Dex comes out. He's like, "Dex will see you now." And I love this. As you're walking, Jackie's just like, "So you think you can take me in a fight? What's your weightlifting regimen?" "Uh-huh." "Oh, so you think you can take me in a fight?" "Yeah." He's like one word response.
Yeah, he's just like, "God damn it, do you work out? You are jacked." Like just fucking, again, still like enamored just because of where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
And the bodyguard, like he's kind of got an intimidating kind of posture to him. Like he kind of reminds me of if you would take a T-1000 and mix it with Blade.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I can see that.
Like, especially because he kind of has like Blade's haircut and everything. Like that's kind of what I pictured. It'd be blade if he was the size of a T-1000.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, no. After you. So.
Oh, by all means. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, Jackie's just talking and shit. Like, so you think you can take me in a fight? Yeah. And just back and forth. This motherfucker doesn't talk much. You go into one of the back rooms and Dexter Deshawn is there with T-Bug, and you sit down and immediately Dex asks you, so what did Evelyn Parker want? And this is an opportunity where you can rat out Evelyn Parker if you wanted to.
Yeah. I have always told Evelyn, like, when she asks if you want to do the deal, I always tell her I need to think about it, and then I'll inform Dex. Like, even though after the first playthrough I knew it didn't matter, like for me, because that feels like the more honorable thing to do, I always tell him. I've never actually gone a playthrough where I just was like, no, everything's fine. Didn't say anything. There was nothing weird.
It doesn't add anything to the story, so I always just choose the option where I should keep my mouth shut.
Interesting.
I've done that before where I rat her out. It literally does nothing for the story.
Yeah. Like, either way, it's going to end the same.
Yeah. So it kind of sucks. Like, I wish it had some bearing on the story, or like even had a small mechanic tied to it.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? Right. So what are you going to do? You're talking to Dexter Deshawn. You're talking about the heist and everything. You start talking about pay cuts, and Jackie has a fucking problem with this. I think it's 70-30 split.
Yeah, because new talent always gets 30.
Yeah, so 70% obviously for like Dexter and his cut, and probably Evelyn.
Yeah.
And then 30% for probably split between 3 ways between you, T-Bug, and Jackie. So realistically 10%.
Yeah.
So Jackie has a problem with this. I didn't do this, but I think you can negotiate for like 40%.
Well, see, when you tell him about Evelyn, he says, normally new talent always gets 30%. However, for your honesty, V, I'm going to be generous and I'm going to give you 40%.
That's right. Yeah, it's been so long because I did this on my first playthrough back in 2020, so I couldn't quite remember.
Yeah, so if you're honest with him, he'll get you that 40%. And then Jackie doesn't really say anything. Like, actually, when you're in the car going to the job, he's like, yeah, and thanks to you, we're getting that juicy 40%. Like, he's fucking stoked about it.
Yeah, he's happy about it. Yeah, I couldn't quite remember because it was obviously 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the job and everything. You slot in a shard, and it's basically giving you the rundown of the job and everything. And T-Bug is there. The first time you get to meet T-Bug in person.
The only time you see her in person.
The only time you see her in person. And I struggle to understand the relationship between you guys and T-Bug, because the way it made it sound, I assume T-Bug was Dexter's netrunner that he contracted out for this job to join you guys.
Well, I think that he may have contacted Jackie and T-Bug independently. But T-Bug was already working with you when you went to go do the scav hunt. And that's before you started talking to Dex. So like, she's already been a part of your crew. Like, she's Jackie's Lucy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I was like, wait, hold on. She was a part of our crew beforehand, even before we even met Dex. But once Dexter leaves the cubicle, you can ask T-Bug, be like, how do you know Dex? And she doesn't elaborate at all.
Well, yeah, no, like, excuse me. Jesus Christ.
God damn.
It kind of goes back to the whole, you can't really trust anybody in Night City thing from Edge Runner.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to try to, like, she's going to work with you guys, but she's also going to keep her cards close.
Oh, that's actually a good hypothetical. Do you think if the heist went more smoothly, T-Bug would have screwed you over to take a bigger cut somehow?
Ooh.
Like Kiwi from Edge Runners. Because she was kind of a dick and not really part of your crew.
She may have. Like, if there was a way for her to do it, she might have tried to fucking screw you.
Yeah.
Because she was already hacked into your like biomons and stuff.
Oh my
right?
God, yeah.
Like, she could have just been like, okay, cool, you guys have it, you dropped it off, bam.
Yeah, she could just turn you both off right there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she always turns me on, but that's a different story.
Oh, she's ugly as fuck, man. But I can't remember if there's any other like important information that Dexter talks about during that meeting. It's just basically reiterating everything that you know about the heist. Like, this is the plan. You're gonna take a limo it's basically an AI taxi service called Delamain. You're gonna take that dressed as like corpo agents. You know, your arms dealer for Militech. That's why you're gonna get through security checkpoints with the flathead. They're gonna know you have it, but you're gonna go under the guise of being arms dealer.
Yeah. And you each get code names, and what's kind of cool is depending on whether you're a male or a female V, your name changes slightly. So I can't remember what your last name is as a female V. As a male V, it's you're Harry Victorino. However, when you're a female, you're Valerie something. Like it actually changes which V they use.
I started smiling too.
Phrasing. But yeah, it changes where they put the
V. Sorry.
Where they put the name change at. So that's kind of something that I thought was cool, is that they put thought into that aspect as well.
Ooh.
Dude, why are you fucking so white now?
Why am I so bright, dude? I look oily like a fucking bronze sculpture right now.
Dude, maybe it's that HDR shit you fucking turned on.
I think I did. I think I'm turning that off next time. But anyway, so
you look like a light bulb. Like you just got a fucking idea.
Oh. Anyway, so that's the plan, right? And then you have an option to like, all right, do I want to do more? What are you laughing at?
I got one more. You look like the adult version of the fucking sun baby from fucking Teletubbies.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
It's not my fault it's accurate.
Jesus Christ.
Okay,
anyway, so you have the option right then and there to, God, shut the fuck up. We're podcasting.
I'm sorry.
So you have the option then and there to basically, all right, do I want to do more side quests or do I want to start the heist now? And you start the heist now, and it does a small time skip, maybe like 24 hours or 12 hours or whatever the fuck. Not a long time. And you and Jackie are in the Delamain limousine. You're all dressed up and everything. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
And as you're driving to Konpeki Plaza, T-Bug is linked in comms. And this is one of the few times where we get to learn a little bit about T-Bug that's not just like talking about the job.
Yeah.
T-Bug, for some reason, is a big philosophy honcho.
Yeah.
She loves like Aristotle, Greek philosophers, and she loves quoting philosophy, which makes me wish, man, like I wish we got like maybe just one or two missions besides the prologue where you got to spend time with T-Bug and Jackie and got to really like get yourself attached to these characters.
Yeah. Like it would have been really cool to be able to interact with them a little bit more. Like we got to interact with Jackie a decent amount, but to be able to interact with T-Bug more would be cool because like she's just kind of doing her own thing. Like she's a background character more or less.
Yeah, you get to talk with her 2 missions and then she dies.
Yeah. But what's cool about her whole philosopher thing is I can't remember the exact quote that she did from Aristotle, but she's doing that to make sure that you copy everything that she's saying, whatever, that the link is good. And when she goes over to you and make sure that your side's good, there's a cool option that you can click that says, I want more Aristotle.
I clicked that too.
Yeah, she's like, fuck off, both.
Yeah, she doesn't elaborate. She's like, oh, fuck you, you're messing with me.
Yeah, exactly.
And?
Got static. Say something, Bug. We are nearing
The greatest crimes issue from a desire for excess and not from necessity.
Say what now?
Aristotle. Guess you read me then.
Yeah, I read you. Not so much your Greek friend, though it was kind of exciting.
Could give it some thought. Try to understand. How about you, V?
I want more Aristotle.
Fuck off, both.
And what's kind of cool too about the whole Delamain situation is when you first get in it, like Jackie starts telling the story about how he tried to hire Delamain for his brother or his cousin's bachelor party.
That's right.
And he's like, I'm sorry, we just don't take those types of contracts. Like, man, 3 months I was saving up scratch. oh, whatever. But we got the Excelsior package, and V's like, the fuck does that mean? Oh, it means that he didn't skimp. Check this out. Delamain, enter combat mode. It's like, I'm sorry, but you don't appear to be in any imminent danger.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, I tried.
Yeah. So I think the quote that T-Bug says, like, most crimes come from a desire of excess and not necessity, which actually has a lot of like meaning in Night City. Like, holy shit, that kind of makes sense. A lot of the crimes in Night City are committed out of like wanting more and not because you need more. More sugar. But you arrive at Konpeki Plaza, right? You have to drop your guns and everything, and which is why, you know, a lot of our gameplay for this mission will look the same probably, besides quick hacks and net running and shit.
Yeah, which is again why I tried to develop that side of things so I could help mix things up a little bit.
So,
But you roll up to the place, like Jackie's like, oh, I forgot, no irons. You have to store your guns and shit. You get out of the car and you start walking towards the front entrance, and Jackie goes through the scanner first, and alarms start going off all over the place.
Yeah.
And the fucking guard standing there like, excuse me, what the fuck do you think you're doing bringing in military equipment in here?
And that's when the dialogue option comes up where it's like, oh fuck, make a decision now.
Yeah.
It adds that tension, you know?
Yeah, and I've picked the same option every single time. I don't know what happens if you let it run out, like if Jackie covers his ass, or if it makes you say something else, but I've always picked the option that just says, hey, we're arms dealers.
Yeah.
And that's when they like start looking into shit like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Come on through, sir.
Yeah. I want to mention this before we get too far ahead because I just remembered. There's a really good character development moment in the limousine as you're driving to Konpeki Plaza. So you're talking to Jackie and he's so excited, right? He's like talking a million miles a minute. He's talking about how he's excited to be a legend in Night City. Like, we're in the major leagues, V. You know, he just can't shut up about, you know, oh, this is the big leagues. We're finally making it, man. We're gonna be a legend. And as V, you can choose to like either belittle him or be like, all right, stay focused.
Yeah.
And I think I chose the one where I tell him, why are you so excited right now? And Jackie has a really cool response. I can't remember it verbatim, but essentially he says, I've been poor my whole life. I'm not going back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm putting all my chips on the table. Like, this either works or I die.
Yeah, and I went with the option that was basically telling him, hey, you need to get your head in the game. Like, focus on the task at hand. And he says something along the lines of like, my thoughts have never been clearer in my whole fucking life. Like, I'm focused on what's going to happen here.
He's so determined.
Yeah. He's a very strong-willed person, which is how he's kind of gotten to where he's at now.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, like, what kind of past life did he have to where he doesn't want to go back to like working gig jobs and, you know, being like a merc for hire in Night City. Like, what the fuck happened to him?
Well, we know that when he was a teenager, he was part of the Valentinos,
right.
And he got like shot up pretty fucking bad and ended up in the hospital, which
That's
is when
right, yeah.
His mom basically begged him to stop, and he said he wasn't going to be a part of that life anymore. And he managed to be able to leave the gang on good terms because, like, you know, the Valentino members, they show up to his funeral later on.
That's right, yeah. So I just wanted to mention that real quick before we got too far ahead. You go through the screening, like the metal detectors, for lack of a better word. They screen you, figure out you have the flathead, you have to like make up a bullshit excuse like, hey, we're arms dealers. That's how you get through. And I love this. You talk to the stewardess at the hotel, and because I'm sure you chose the exact same option,
the corporal
option, where you basically berate this minimum wage worker, be like, did anybody ask you to think?
Yeah, because like she goes, oh well, I'll let your contact know that you're here. It's like, I'm sorry, did I fucking ask you to do that? Well, I just thought, did anyone ask you to think?
Yeah.
Here's a
think.
Here's a bit of advice. Only do what you're fucking told.
Yeah.
Like, basically just now you fucking sit there and be a good dog. Like, you only follow orders. Don't fucking act on your own.
Yeah. I was like, oh fuck, this hurts my heart, but it's also in character for your cover, right?
Yeah. And just to kind of like add insult to injury, you know, because obviously she hasn't been able to spit out what your room number is. Now, what did you say my room number was? Like,
Yeah.
it's this one.
Pocket pie.
Yeah, you kind of become like she kind of becomes like fucking Porky Pig. Like it's on the 22nd floor, sir.
Oh my god.
So you get your room number and you start walking towards the elevator and you see a bar and you get the option to either go investigate the bar or just go straight to your room. Now, I investigated the bar because I wanted to try to get as much shit as possible. Like, I think I've done it twice now. I did it my first playthrough and I did it this one. Like, because it adds a little bit of like lore and depth to it, but it doesn't affect the overall outcome of the story.
Yes. So this is actually why I asked you, did you know a certain Japanese developer's name? So in the bar at Konpeki Plaza, in the right side of the bar, there is a one, and I'm going to butcher this name, so I'm sorry. Hideo Kojima is how I think I pronounce your name. Hideo Kojima, you don't really know anything about this guy, right, Hunter?
Mm-mm.
So he is a very popular game developer. I think he used to work at Konami.
Oh, cool.
So he was a big part of like, and I'm just going off of memory here, so I could be wrong, but he was a big part of like the Silent Hill game series.
Okay.
And also like his game lists are here. Metal Gear Solid, lots of the Metal Gear games.
Oh, cool.
Death Stranding. So Death Stranding, the PS4 game that came out like 5 years ago-ish with Norman Reedus, he made that.
Okay.
So
That's cool. I actually really like the Metal Gear games. Like, I played the shit out of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty.
So a lot of his credits are just for a fuck ton of Metal Gear games, but I think he was at Konami, which was it is still, I think, a big Japanese game developer company.
Yeah.
So Hideo Kojima is an Easter egg in the right side of the bar, and you can see his NPC. It's a 1-to-1, like fucking here. I'll even type it: Kojima Cyberpunk. So Kojima's in the bar.
That's fucking cool. I didn't notice that. Whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah, but he's in the bar and he's talking about, like, it's kind of cool. It's like it kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit because he's a video game developer. But in the world of Cyberpunk, he's talking about how he's a brain dance editor, video game developer, brain
That's
dance
fucking
developer.
cool.
And he talks about his philosophy of making brain dances and how he wants to invoke emotion, you know, like real fear, real hope and everything. And I'm like, that's some really fucking clever, you know, Easter egg.
That's really fucking cool. I like that a lot. I've never found him. I've never gone to that side. Like, once I talked to the bartender and the customer that's all fucking drunk and fucked up, that's when I usually just kind of like dip out, because that's when it makes the area like disappear, and it makes you go back to the main objective.
Yeah, he's at the right side of that bar.
That's fucking cool.
So if you have a save, you know, that is at that spot, maybe go, and it's a pretty cool little Easter egg. But I wanted to show that to you. It's a real life person. He's a huge fan of Cyberpunk, and he's a big like Japanese game developer.
That's really fucking cool. I'll have to see if I have a save so I can go see him.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go up to the bar and there's this one drunk customer that's just, he's going on a rant, like, and it's gonna affect everybody, and it's gonna fuck everybody up, and you're just like, what's gonna fuck everybody up? What's happening? And he starts talking about you know, what weighs X amount of tons, this and this, and it's out in the fucking dock. Like, he's talking about the whale, you know, the Arasaka
the aircraft carrier. Yeah.
Just saying like that's gonna bring misfortune or whatever to them. And as the corpo, you can be like, hey, dude, you're talking about the fucking emperor's daughter right now. You need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna get yourself fucking killed real quick. So he fucks off, and then you start talking to the bartender, and he calls you kiddo. And with the corpo dialogue, you'd be like, kiddo, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? Let me talk to your manager. And he starts going into this whole story of, do you know who owns this place? I'm like, well, no. Like, yeah, nobody does. It's a mystery. But he sure does like to keep things bright, shiny, and something else. Like, the dude's made out of total gold.
Yeah.
And he starts like trying to hint at, and maybe, just maybe, he decides to highlight as a bartender every once in a while, so that way he can keep everything under wrap.
Oh,
he can keep an eye on everything.
He wanted to pretend like he's an undercover boss or some shit.
Yeah, and I laughed so hard because I forgot this was a dialogue option. After he says that, you get 2 options. I don't remember what the top one is, but the bottom one is just cool story, bro. And I laughed so fucking hard. He was like, yeah, that's a cool story, Choom. Too bad it's all fucking fake.
Yeah.
And the guy just kind of plays it off. I was like, so can I get you anything? Maybe a water at least. And that's really where that dialogue ends. But I just love the fact that you just straight up fucking cool story, bro, somebody before you go fucking steal some awesome ass chip.
Yeah. So you go up the elevator after you've done, exploring the bar and everything or whatever you want to do in that area. It's not a big area, so there's not much to do.
Yeah.
You go up the elevator, you go to your room, and Jackie's like, damn, Dex didn't skimp on the fucking room. I wish we were staying here for luxury. It is a nice ass room.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to stay there with Jackie. Like, that would feel kind of weird, but I wouldn't mind staying there by myself.
Yeah.
Or with other company.
Jeez, there's only one bed. But yeah, you stay there, and T-Bug has to do some kind of like hacking or whatever bullshit. It's going to take time, so you have a small time skip.
Yeah, it takes about 3.5 to 4 hours. She said that the ice that's on their security system was a lot thicker than she anticipated, so it took her a longer period of time to be able to hack in.
Right? Yeah, the ice for the whatever she's got to get into.
Yeah, because like she expected to just be able to hack into it while you were going through the process of getting up to your room, so that way things could just go smoothly. Because at that point, like, what the fuck is his name? Not Saburo. Yorinobu is out of his penthouse, so it'd be the perfect time to break in.
Yeah. So after the time skip, you plug in the flathead to your brain, right? And that's when it's go time, right? The flathead goes through the ventilation shaft.
And they went to the ventilation shaft.
Yeah. The flathead goes through the ventilation shaft, and the main goal, which I didn't really understand it at first, but your mission is to find the hotel's netrunner, right?
Yeah. So he's kind of there working as like defense for the servers and everything. Like,
yeah.
Once you get to that point, like after you navigate all the shit, what's her face? T-Bug, because your character's like, I don't understand why they only have one runner for this whole hotel. And she said that one dweller is worth 10 or 12 some other bullshit. I can't fucking remember.
Yeah, she says like a good netrunner is worth 12 fucking, basic bitch netrunners off the block.
Yeah, a good dweller is worth like a dime a dozen is kind of what she's saying. Like,
yeah. If this guy knows his shit, he's worth 12 other guys.
Yeah. So you use the flathead to be able to kind of neutralize him. Now you can either have, if you have your intelligence up high enough, you can actually have T-Bug give you a quick hack, a demon, to be able to actually kill him.
Yeah.
Which I happen to have that, so I'm like, fuck yeah, murder his ass right there. I don't give a fuck.
Which I want to mention really quickly before we get too far ahead. As you're switching rooms to like guide the flathead from room to room, in one of the hotel rooms, there's the mayor of Night City. And you can see him making a deal with Arasaka under the table. I can't remember exactly what it's about, but he's like talking about the elections coming up. I need more support. Like Arasaka's like, well, we can give you more support for a price,
Yeah, like we get to see some shady shit going on. And kind of a funny moment too it's like the first or second room that you go into with the flathead. There are 2 maids in there, and both are female. They're talking about like, their flings or interests or whatever. Yeah. And the one that's over by the fucking window that's washing it starts talking about how she wants to fuck Yorinobu.
Yeah.
And the other one's just like, come on, be fucking realistic here. Which is something like I've always kind of found funny is they decided to put that in.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go through all these different rooms, finally neutralize the netrunner or the dweller, and
which I'm sorry to interrupt, but it makes the flathead section feel very limited and like anticlimactic. Like, really, that was it?
Well, I mean, I get it. Like originally, you weren't even going to be the one to do it. They started out with Jackie, and then he started having issues with it, which is when he takes out the control shard and gives it to you, and you have to take over.
Yeah. I just feel like it would have been a cooler segment if it was in a first-person perspective and you were actually controlling the bot.
Yeah, it would have been cooler than just fucking scanning different things and sending it that way. But, like at the same time,
It is what it is, right?
Yeah, it's not like it's a big part of the story. Like I can live with how they did it.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, we risked our life for that. It lasted 5 minutes. That's right. I didn't mean to strike a chord there or anything.
I think 5 minutes was a long time.
Jesus. But anyway, like you said, you neutralize the runner. I don't think you kill him if you have like the bot hang over his head. You just like put him to sleep or something.
I think it doesn't kill him. It just kind of like makes it to where he can't do anything.
Yeah, it acts as like an alien face hugger.
Basically, yeah.
So you get control of the hotel's systems, right? T-Bug is able to hack in, and I believe that's what was able to allow T-Bug to reroute the elevator to access the penthouse.
Yeah, because if she would have tried to do it before we took out the dweller, like that would have sparked an immediate alarm, and he would have been able to track her down and fucking wipe her out.
Exactly. So you go to the penthouse, and I immediately made a mad dash for where I knew where the gun was, the collectible gun.
Interesting. I made a different mad dash. I went for the iguana egg.
I forgot about the iguana egg.
You forget every time.
I'm gonna mod it in.
Well, there is a way to get it after the fact. It's fucking hard. You have to make like certain jumps. I haven't done it because I was smart enough to go fucking get it when I was in the room.
It's okay. It just spawns in your apartment, right? Somehow.
Yeah, after like X amount of time, it does. But you also might just be able to mod it in and have yours fucking hatch.
I'll just mod it in.
Yeah, you can get the iguana egg, and then if you manage to scan the gun, like his unique handgun is going to be waiting on the nightstand.
Yeah, which even though I'm going for a shotgun heavy weapon build with lots of strength and melee weapons, like this was still the best weapon for this mission for me.
Yeah, it's a really good handgun for starting out.
I forget what it's called.
Kongoro or some shit like that.
Kainushi. It's an iconic hand cannon, and it like ricochets off the walls without needing any tech investment.
Yeah. Once you grab that, you can go get the chip, and that's when T-Bug calls you. She's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but all the staff are on their feet. All 200 of them are like fucking running around with like chickens with their heads cut off.
Yeah.
So you then have to go and hide in this big ass pillar that's behind a screen that, when you're doing the brain dance, you can see him.
It's the TV.
Yeah. You can see him talking to somebody on the TV.
It was Andrew Hellman.
Yeah. And that's when we get to see Adam Smasher again walk in with Yorinobu, and eventually Saburo starts walking down the stairs, and it sets Yorinobu off because like he's just sitting there berating him like, I can't believe you've done this. Like, did you really think I didn't know you stole my chip? This and that. And Saburo says, I can forgive you for many things, son, but for treason, that I cannot.
So Saburo is 150 years fucking old, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until in the plaza. It's really cool. You can see, like, because this is obviously an Arasaka hotel, very Arasaka, oriented, very prideful of the Arasaka family. In the lobby of the hotel, they have like little video documentaries about Yorinobu.
Yeah.
The old
Saburo.
Sorry, I get them mixed up all the time. Saburo, and apparently he lived through like World War II and shit, and started his own company. And the fact that he's so old shows that in the world of Cyberpunk, if you're rich enough, you can live pretty much for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Like you can have cybernetics that increase your lifespan like fucking threefold.
Yeah, as long as you can afford it, you can just keep on living.
Yeah.
Once Yorinobu hits a certain fucking point, he's fucking grabs him by the throat, slams him up against the glass, and obviously like Saboro's surprised. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And Yorinobu lets go, says, well, father, you'll never have to forgive me for anything ever again. Starts choking him again and just fucking kills him on the spot.
That's why Yorinobu came to Night City, right? Is because he wanted to sell the chip on the black market to somebody.
That's kind of what I've gathered. Yeah, like his whole scheme was to just be able to like sell it and get rich, be able to get away from his father.
Yeah, because Jackie was mentioning that even though he's like the son of the emperor, he's a prince, he's like rich as fuck. He rebelled against his father, joined like a low-level gang, had that rebellious phase where he joined a fucking Peace Corps and everything, went to community college for a couple of years and did everything to piss off his father.
Yeah.
He went through that rebellious phase of his life. He got
his liberal arts degree.
Yeah, pretty much. So, my face just froze on the video. I don't know how long it's been like that.
Mine's still going.
Why is my face so... What happened to me? I don't know how long it's been like that. I look so creepy.
You look fucking mad.
I look so angry.
You look like a fucking albino gorilla that's just like watching someone else pound its wife.
I wonder if I fucking unplug my webcam and plug it back in and if it'll fix that.
I don't know. You might have fucked yourself, dude.
I might have just fucked myself. Okay, we're not exactly sure what happened there, but we restarted my computer and I'll fix that in post. So you're not getting angry at him. I don't know how long that fucking lasted. But anyway, this episode is already pretty fucking long. So we're going to kind of like speed run this, kind of wrap up the last few fucking 15 minutes or so. So what happens is you go grab the relic, right? You grab the iguana egg, you grab the gun, you fucking hide in behind the TV and everything, right? And that's when Saburo, the older one, right? The dad. That's when Saburo comes down, voices his disappointment with his son and everything. Yorinobu fucking kills him, wasted. Offs him. And Yorinobu says, I want to put the apartment on lockdown, or the hotel on lockdown.
Yeah.
What is the reason? My father has been killed. And then instantly code red.
Yep. Atom Smasher and Takamura walk into the room, and Takamura's like, "What the fuck happened? Someone must have poisoned him." He's like, "Poisoned him? I don't see how that could have been possible."
And instantly,
oh yeah, he's smelling some bullshit, and Yorinobu was just like, "I'm sorry, Takamura. What is your job?" To protect the head of the Arasaka estate. Well, then I hope you do your duties better now than you did for my father. Like, basically blaming him for his father's death.
Dude, he was gone 5 minutes.
Yeah, you're the one that killed him.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you were gone for 5 minutes. How could he have been poisoned in the small amount of time that you were fucking gone?
Yeah. So they take off, and did you go raid Saburo's body?
No, isn't there a katana on his body?
There's a
son of a bitch.
Yep, there's a there's a unique katana on his body, and you can get his dog tags.
He has dog tags?
He has dog tags. I don't really know what they do. I've just collected them. I'll have to look through my character's inventory to see if I can find them. But yeah, you can get a named katana off of his body. And from there, T-Bug tells you to go outside, get on the balcony, because fucking Trauma's starting to head towards you. So she opens up the door, and you start hearing, "Oh God, no, they found me! No, no!" Ah! She gets this fucking loud ass scream that gets very digitized.
Yeah.
Should see a ladder. Ladder. Oh fuck! No, 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 not now! I've been made.
Bug! Pinche Dios santo bendito!
So it's obvious that, they found her and they fried her.
Yeah, which, fuck, man, that's kind of horrifying.
Right? Like, because if you're caught as a net runner in somebody else's system, when they fry you, like, they cook you from the inside out.
Yeah.
They make your fucking cybernetics turn fucking super hot.
Yeah, it makes your brain boil, pretty much.
Basically, yeah.
So you find the chip, you find the relic, it's at 100% integrity, you put it inside this case where it can stay cool, right? You go outside, T-Bug dies, but opens up a glass door so you can go outside on the balcony, and you're fucking walking, and Did you look at Jackie's facial expression? He has this wide-eyed, like 1,000-yard stare. He's like shitting his fucking pants.
I didn't look at it.
I looked at him like 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, he looks so fucking funny right now. He's like,
oh god, I don't want to be on the outside of this building.
Yeah. So you're crawling towards, you're inching towards like a ladder, like an escape ladder.
Yeah.
And eventually an Arasaka drone spots you and you're like, oh fuck, time to bail.
Yep.
It's the cinematic action sequence where you're like, you know, Fast and the Furious, right? You're falling down the skyscraper. Bullets are flying. It's a really cool cinematic moment. You fall down and Jackie, I'm assuming he either like broke a rib or got shot during that altercation. I think it was the force of impact. I don't think he got shot, right?
I think it's a mix of the two, like, because I mean you both fell the same distance, but you didn't get fucked up. But
I think Jackie
got shot and the case got shot too, which is why the chip started losing integrity and it started dropping fast.
Yeah.
So he starts panicking. He's like, call Parker, tell her what's going on. You call her up and she's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, Konpeki Plaza is on every major network right now.
Yeah, it's like, you guys are fucking up right now.
Yeah. So you tell her what's going on with the chip and she goes, there's only one other option. Like, it has to be in a safe environment. One of you has to slot it into your neural port.
Yeah.
So Jackie goes ahead and sticks it in him. And
like,
you know, you after Jackie slots it in, you start trying to make your way down to the garage because you already called Delamain like, hey man, we're on our way, just be ready for us.
Yeah.
And this is where we actually get to like have the action sequences start. This is where we get to start to fight.
Before we get to the action sequence, I just want to add one thing or a question for you. So before the Phantom Liberty DLC came out, I was holding out hope that maybe somewhere in the story we could access the shard and maybe Jackie was hiding in there somewhere. Did you have that same thought at all? Like, Jackie had the shard in him, obviously the relic, obviously not for as long as you, but were you like me holding out hope that maybe we would see a small bit of Jackie in the Phantom Liberty DLC inside the relic because he put it in first?
No, I kind of figured he was just going to be gone.
Oh.
Honestly, that wasn't even a thought that crossed my mind.
I was hoping for that. Like, you'd get a little bit of closure with him.
That would have been kind of cool, but at the same time, like, it wouldn't have made as much sense because it took that specific program in order to make the engram of Johnny.
I guess so.
Like, you needed that encoding. And I think if they would have tried to blend that would have actually made things worse because then Johnny would essentially have the same issue that V did, where Jackie started to override him if his presence was there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you start making your way down towards the elevator.
Making your way downtown. Walking.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I panicked because I looked over and your face wasn't moving. Like, dude, you froze again.
Like, fuck it, we'll do it live.
And yeah, this is where we start to be able to actually like interact and shit. And for me, it was cool because there was also not just a lot of enemies for me to be able to like quick hack and stuff, but there's a lot of different ports as you're going down. So
yes,
actually in some of my footage, you'll see me like be mid fight and I'll see somewhere where I can hack to get like, you know, demons or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to shoot you. And I'm going to go fucking hack. And then I'm going to come back to the fight. Like I kind of dip back and forth because, you know, ADHD, I'm a fucking squirrel. If I see something that I can work on, I'm going to do it. So
this is the first combat section of this mission. Well, realistically, the only combat section.
But it's a good heavy piece.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, I used the pistol that I found in the hotel room, the penthouse, and it was working very well for me. During this whole section, I tried picking up an LMG, but I felt like I was shooting fucking wet tissue paper.
Yeah, the first time that I went through this mission, I actually picked up like an SMG that did fucking like lightning damage.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to find that gun since then.
Oh.
And I was really pissed because like when I first started playing this game, it was before, you know, I really had any sort of playstyle because obviously it's the first time I've ever touched it.
Yeah.
What I would do is once I got weapons that dealt more damage, I would just sell everything that I had before. Because one, I didn't know you could upgrade weapons to make them better.
Yeah.
And two, like I was trying to make money. Like I fucking pick up everything. If I see a body with loot on it, I take all that shit. Even if I'm fucking rich as fuck, I still loot everybody because I'm a loot goblin.
So you go, Jackie injects himself with a hypo. It's enough to get him through the first few fights, right? He's still fucked up, but he's buying himself some time so he can help you during these fight sections.
Yeah.
You eventually get to the garage where Delamain is waiting there. I just hauled ass to the fucking car. You know, I avoided all the people that are shooting me. And you go inside the Delamain car. Delamain activates combat mode. He doesn't have any guns or anything, but it allows him to like take evasive maneuvers, right?
Yeah. One thing that's kind of funny about that is you start fucking taking off, right? And you get slammed from the side from Adam Smasher. And then he jumps in front of you, and Delamain's like, there's an obstruction in front of us. Like, no shit, turn around and fucking run.
Yeah. You're running from, you know, Adam Smasher and Konpeki Plaza. There's Arasaka drones that are following you, and I feel like this is one of the few vehicle combat sections that it was done fairly well.
Yeah.
Like, you're shooting the Arasaka drones that are following you. It feels intense. You know, even though it's scripted, there's really no way you can really lose.
Yeah, like, I mean, these drones do have quite a bit of health. Like, normally with drones, I can quick hack them with short circuit and it'll blow them up pretty much instantaneously, but these still take some time to work through.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty well done. Once you get back inside, Delamain starts telling you that Jackie's not doing well, his condition's critical, and I chose the option that's like, critical? What the fuck does that mean?
Like dumb.
Yeah, just kind of make him panic a little bit. So he starts to explain like one of his main arteries is hemorrhaging on the inside. He's not going to last for very long. And your job is to try to keep him conscious.
Yeah. This is the big sad moment.
Yeah. So, you know, you keep trying to keep him awake. And finally he pulls out the shard and he hands it to you. Or he pulls out the chip, and he dies right there just staring at you.
Yeah, I chose the option. You're going to see your mom again. You're going to see Misty again, remember?
Yep, I did that too.
You know, I didn't really want to be like, you're going to be a legend in Night City, or you're going to be okay. I want to be like, you're going to see your family again.
Yeah, like, you're going to pull through this. I did the same choice. And we see his hand just drop out of the air, and
his pupils dilate, and
yeah, he dies right there, and like the screen goes black, and clearly like you went into shock witnessing basically your best friend die in front of you.
Yeah, the music that plays in the background is fucking spectacular, man.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's so ethereal and disturbing and sad and somber, and this music track will come back at later points in the story during high emotional moments.
Yeah, they did a very, very good job with being able to craft something that really makes the moment hit home.
Yeah, you just lost T-Bug. I mean, we didn't really care about her, but you lost T-Bug, you lost Jackie now, and it's like, holy shit, like, the game is not pulling its punches at all with the emotional fucking blows to you.
Yeah, like, you're losing everyone that's supposed to be close to you.
So you eventually pull up to like the No-Tell Motel, which is a dingy fucking hotel off the radar, to meet Dexter Deshawn. But before you get out of the vehicle, Delamain asks, what should I do with Mr. Wells' remains?
Yeah.
And there's, I think, 3 options.
Yeah.
One of the options is take him to his family, take him to Mama Wells. The other option is take him to Vic's.
Yep, take him to go see Misty. And the other one is nowhere. I'll be right back.
Okay, so I know for sure what happens with 2 of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens if you say, I'll be back. Do you know what happens?
I don't know. I've always sent him to his mom because like that to me felt like the right choice. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously he loved Misty, but to me, it would have felt like a betrayal of Jackie's trust to not send him to his mom because like he's the last of her sons. She needs to be able to say goodbye.
Yeah, so in the past I've done send him to Vic's because in my mind I was like, do not put that trauma on Mama Wells. You know, I was in my head canon trying to think, all right, what would be the most respectful way to do this? You're going to traumatize Mama Wells if a Delamain cab shows up and he's just dead right there.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, take him to Vic's. Vic will do whatever he needs to do to like clean him up and then relay the message to Mama Wells in a respectful manner. But that's not what happens.
No.
If you take him to Vic's, if I remember right, later on, Arasaka goons will come and capture the body trying to reclaim the relic, and they'll do experiments on the body.
Holy shit.
Have you never done that?
No.
Yeah, so I'm going off of memory here, so I could be kind of wrong, but Vic says, yeah, Arasaka came in. There was nothing I can do. They took his body, you know, and as far as I heard, they were doing experiments on the body. They tried to find the relic. They wanted the relic back. So I think they do experiments on the body and they just take him away and he doesn't get a proper burial.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's really fucked up.
And I don't, obviously, if you do that option, you don't get the funeral scene with Mama Wells and the rest of the Valentinos.
Yeah. Which is really unfortunate, especially because he's such a good character. Like, that funeral scene to me is really important.
Yes. Because if you don't do that funeral scene, Mama Wells ignores your calls for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and you don't get a lot of shit. Like, you don't get to have Jackie's bike.
That's right. Yeah.
And honestly, just being able to go through like Jackie's garage and stuff for that mission, which we'll talk about later in the future, and all the different items that you can choose is really cool for like what you're able to bring to his memorial service.
Yes. So, I mean, we'll talk more about Jackie in later episodes. It's a very heart-wrenching scene, but we're kind of short on time. I could stay here and talk for another fucking 30 minutes about how much I love Jackie and how much of an emotional, impactful moment this is, but we got to move on. So you go into the No-Tell Motel and Dexter Deshawn is there. You knock on the door. The bodyguard lets you in, the same bodyguard from the afterlife, right? And Dex is fucking pissed. He's like, you just killed the emperor himself, his majesty. You fucking killed him. And now we got to leave the country and everything. He's like, the whole job is burned.
Yeah.
And you can argue, you argue with Dex, be like, that wasn't us. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Anyone that's tied to today is going to be dead.
Yeah. It wasn't you. Tell that to the Sokka ninjas that are going to be fucking following you from now on.
Yeah. So Dex calms down a little bit. He's like, all right, I got a plan, but you know what? Go into the bathroom, clean yourself up.
So funny bit about this. As soon as he said that, it brought up a certain person that we went to school with. And immediately in my recording, I'm like, yeah, go clean yourself up. You disgust me.
Oh my God.
And I included this bit because this is one of the few moments that it's scripted for us to actually be able to see our character's face without having to go into the inventory. Because you go up and, you wash your face, you wash your hands, and you got to look at yourself in the mirror and you can either choose to walk away or fucking haymaker that bitch. And I haymaker the fuck out of it.
Yeah, I used to do that. For this playthrough, I knew what was going to happen anyway. It's a scripted sequence. There's no way to avoid it. But you can actually wait in that room and just basically disregard Dex. And Dex gets on the phone. When your eyes glow, you're on a holo call and everything with someone. He's basically buying a ticket from the spaceport to go somewhere.
Okay.
He's making an escape plan. He's like, ticket for one seat. I need to go today. He's basically like spending all of his money to get the fuck out of Dodge.
That's interesting. I've never done that.
Yeah, so I don't know where he's gonna go. Like in the world of Cyberpunk, space travel is relegated to the moon and I think the casino space station, right? That's the only places you can go.
I think so, yeah.
It's not like we've colonized Saturn or Mars or anything. It's just those two places as far as I know.
Yeah.
So I think Dexter was planning on spending all of his money to go to the casino space station. I think.
Just to get the fuck out of there.
Yes. So he's planning his escape plan and everything. And if you stay in that room long enough, he'll just be like, all right, have it your way. And the bodyguard tackles you anyway.
Oh, shit.
So there's no way to avoid it. Like I knew it was coming and there was no way to avoid it, but I was like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to stay in here.
Yeah, I'm going to do what I want, bitch.
So the bodyguard tackles you, kicks the shit out of you. And Dexter says something very impactful. He's like, it seems I've chosen the quiet life after all, Mr. V. And then fucking domes you in the head.
Yep. no blaze of glory for me. And it's pretty cool because like you see the light fizzle out in your eyes and your systems all start going fucking haywire. There's just fucking error codes streaming across the screen, and then everything goes black.
And then it shows the Cyberpunk 2077 game logo.
Yep.
It's like, holy shit, what if the game just ended right there?
Oh, dude, I would have been so fucking pissed if it was like hyped up for so fucking long. Like, oh yeah, dude, this game's so in depth. It's this and that, and then it
was 3 hours of playtime.
Yeah,
or 3 or 4 hours
of playtime.
Playtime. I got 3 hours with you, Bonesaw. But anyway, this episode is already really long, so we're not going to spend much time on our outro and everything. I love this fucking game. I love this mission. Very emotional, very impactful. Hunter, is there anything that you really quickly want to say before we put the nail on this one?
No, I feel like we cover it pretty well. This was a really big intro to exactly how this game operates.
Mm-hmm.
And it was able to bring in a lot more of the different pieces of lore and things for the universe that we're going to be going into in this next act.
Yeah. So this was a very important fucking mission. Obviously, it's the thing that builds up this game for the rest of the playthrough.
Yeah, it's the catalyst of the story.
Yeah, I meant to say plot instead of game.
Yeah.
That builds up the plot for this game for the rest of the playthrough. You know, it's the relic. It's the driving force of the rest of the game. You know, you lose your best friend, you meet someone else, you know, it's just, there's so much emotion, so much stakes too. It's just a well-crafted fucking mission. I just love it so much.
Yeah. It's really fucking, it's done very well. Yes.
So this is already a really long episode. Without further ado, we will catch you guys on the next one where we get to meet Johnny Silverhand for the first time, the rocker boy himself, Keanu Reeves. And we will catch you guys on the next Sci-Fi Sunday. My name is Adam Edgar.
And I'm Hunter Chambliss.
Catch you guys on the flip side. Ciao.
Bye.
I don't know. A happier ending for everyone involved.
Here, for folks like us, wrong city, wrong people.
A thing of beauty, I know, will never fade away. What should it to me? I know. Said what you had to say, but a thing of beauty.
Goodbye, V. And never stop fighting.
Will never